going to, don't we?
1 more minute.
One more minute. Gosh, 60 whole seconds. Joe Smith. It's like I know everybody in this room in Crazy Town. 1 more minute.
Thank you.
Gosh. 60. Hmm.
Oh, in all the years that we've lived there.
I mean,
Lost anything. With the magnets growing up down the street from us.
right? I was
Yeah.
wondering about that. Somebody who doesn't know you, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
I am going to graduation.
oh, Bothell. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and in order to go, you have to prove that you.
Oh,
Yeah,
that to me is like, how are you gonna, like, it would be so.
There is a
easily-
law right now that you can request or.
So are they like, do you go into a database? Like, I know that they took my information when I went through like the whole, mass
from my
sign up thing.
standpoint, I just made a comment.
Mhm. Oh, I still have it in my wallet. I'll just gild it. Surgically implant, yeah.
I am. Should we go ahead and stand? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda, and I might make note that mayor is gone tonight, and that's the reason I'm filling in. So we hope to have him back by next meeting. So
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda.
I will second.
and so we have a motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We're going to have to stop this meeting and go into a special meeting to receive any public comments. Need to adjust my teeth or something.
Can you say that one more time? Because I
But
don't
we
think I
need
got
to,
it.
we need to open up a public hearing to accept any input from the public that we might have concerning our new land development regulations. And is anybody here to offer that comments or input? Okay. So in lieu of nobody being here to discuss that, then we will move back and go back to.
Does anyone want to comment on the new regulations that have been proposed for land use?
Okay,
I do have a comment.
okay.
So the only thing I want to comment is that I noticed something that was missing under the animals section, farm animals and such, is that it doesn't say they need to be contained. So I noticed chickens running out in the street and stuff, won't point fingers, but that I think we need to freshen up and just add something that the animals do need to be contained to be inside city limits.
Okay, so we're gonna move soon to, I'll accept that. Do we need to, do we come back and add that as an agenda, or do we just agree now that we will add that?
So on your council meeting later on is to approve to go toward to state for recommendations. And you could just add that recommendation for the planning commission to add that if you so choose. It's up to you.
Okay, so to the council, do we have any discussion regarding that?
I don't know that we can yet
No,
until we
you
get
don't
to the new
discuss
business.
Oh,
it
do
in
it.
public hearing.
Okay,
Yeah, you
okay,
discuss
okay.
it later.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so any other input?
So when you're discussing it, I think the reason I thought it was okay, and I kind of maybe still think it's okay, is that there's a public nuisance clause in there. And And so if, if you have LBJ chickens and they hang out in your front yard, that's not a problem. If they're bothering your neighbor or causing a traffic problem, that's a problem. And so I think we're covered there. Just something to think about. That's it.
And we could discuss that when we get to that place.
Yes.
Do we have any other input regarding the adoption of the land development regulation? Okay, so we will close the public hearing and go back to our regular meeting. So we will have department reports. The mayor isn't here tonight and I don't have one, so we probably would start with you, Chief.
Okay. Thank you. Good evening, council and mayor. Operations are normal. Quick update on the car. It's got all its lights and most of its gizmos all in it. Tomorrow it goes to get the cage in it. Satina's got that in. It's going to be put in tomorrow. And hopefully shortly after that, put a radio in it and it's on the road. So hopefully by this weekend, you'll see that moving around. So that's pretty much all I have.
And then as soon as that's on the road, how long the time frame till you move to surplus the other one?
Actually, yeah, it's surplus. As far as selling it, I've got some people interested in that. So,
Yeah, that was my question. So you'll begin right immediately after.
yeah, they want it as of Friday. When I talked to the person, they want it like as soon as we get our stuff out of it.
That sounds great. Yeah. Thank you. When that is disposition, would you report back at a regular meeting, just we sold it to so-and-so and
Yep.
This is what we got?
Yeah, I'd let you know what we got.
That would be great. Thank you.
Who has it? That's interest to you.
Does anybody else have any other questions for?
I do, just with Randy being incapacitated, for cheese days, how, there being more people and, I'm sure you'll have that all covered, but I just want to double check and,
No, it's a good question.
okay,
As always, I always ask for help from other agencies for
Okay.
cheese days,
Yeah.
and so I've already done that, and
Great.
I've already got that all lined out.
Cool. Yeah.
So, and if you talk to Randy, he's gonna be here, so.
okay.
So that's good, because we can use it, so,
Mhm.
if he's ready to go, but, yeah, that's gonna be covered, we should have a problem.
Okay, thank you. That
Any
was my
other
question.
questions? Thank you very much. Michael?
Hello, everyone. So we finished up the RV sites over at the park. They're good, they're usable, they're all functioning and everything else. We may have to go in and touch them up a little bit here and there later on. Maybe a little more gravel, maybe a little more topsoil, but for now they're looking okay. Everybody's using them. So, and that worked out. We saved a lot of money doing it, how we did with the poles and all that. So that actually worked out good. I'm glad it's done. That was a trip. So, and we also started testing the water today over at the park on the other side of the river. And our capacity there is going to be just testing the residual. They're going to do the monthlies and all the other tests that's required. Their guy thought that it'd be easier since they have to report back to him anyway, that he just do that part of it. We'll do the dailies over there. And if there's anything getting out of whack, we'll just let him know and he'll come and take care of it. So basically we're just going over, testing it every day and kind of keeping track, keeping the record for him. So he doesn't have to come clear out there and do that. So that's what we're doing there. I bought a pallet of bricks. We're getting ready to start on the meters. We're going to start changing those out here pretty soon. The ones that we got for Windlock, we've already got all the registers swapped over, so they're ready to go. I thought I would do the torch down first, but Right now, the supervisor that was in that department moved to Texas. So, and I already had it all set up with the county to get the torch down from them. So it's still there, but to get to that capacity where the supervisor had our stuff is gone. So we're kind of starting over again, all the money and all that stuff. Michelle should be getting notice there pretty soon for Michael on everything's still built, the contract and everything, so we can get it. But I don't know if they set our stuff aside or if they kind of put it in with theirs. So we'll have to see about that. But so as soon as we can get that and the weather permits, we'll be doing that also. And I've already ordered the paint for the curbs and all that, since things seem to be hard to get right now. So I want to make sure that we got all that. They said they had it in stock, so we'll get that this week. So we have it here. So when we get ready to start painting, it's coming up quick. So, and also the last thing I think is the F-150 is going to need tires. So, and I guess we have a government deal with either Goodyear or Kelly tires in Centralia. So I'm going to work with those guys to find out what the prices are going to be. And I'll let you guys know.
So we just anticipate that perhaps by next meeting then, or?
Yeah, probably. It's getting down there. We use that pickup to go to Longview and stuff when we take our samples in and everything. So it's on the freeway once in a while. We use it to go to Chehalis when we have to, so for their water samples. So they're getting down there. So it needs them.
I do have two questions. Number one, the summer help, that working out well?
Yes, it's working out really good. Yeah, he runs all the equipment, big help at the park.
I see
He's
him
gonna be working a lot on the meters.
all the time, yeah. I see him all the time, back and forth, yeah.
Yeah.
Then the second question actually had to do with the park. When we were down there for the memorial service, I noticed some of the benches appear as though they should be removed or major overhaul. Well, one of the two, have we done anything at all with them? Or
Were you referring to the bench that was against the kitchen?
against the kitchen area? Yeah.
Yeah, I removed that. For some reason, somebody said that's been there for a while like that. So, yeah, that got taken out pretty quick.
Yeah, I was afraid that somebody there was a really, I thought, a very nice turnout at the memorial, but I'm a little concerned about whether or not somebody would end up sitting on that. And,
Absolutely. When I saw it, I was like, wow.
okay, great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, it's all removed. So.
Yeah. Anybody else have any questions for us? Thank you very much. Michelle?
So I'll be in for a little bit tomorrow and be out the rest of the week. My baby is graduating, my last child, so getting ready for that. And then in your packet was just some informational stuff on the Bluegrass Festival. So we didn't put it on the agenda. You guys approved it last year, then it had to be canceled due to COVID. So it's just informational. They haven't paid the fee yet, just kind of waiting till it gets a little bit closer to make sure they don't have to cancel again. The other thing, camping is really ramping up at the city park, and not this weekend, but next weekend. Almost all the campsites are reserved. They're gonna have kind of a picker fest going on. So if you want to listen to some music by pickers, go on down to the park and join in. So we're starting to get more and more reservations at the park too. So Mike and his crew did a great job on all those campsites. So go take a run through and take a look at that, because it looks really nice. They did a great job.
And the shower works?
As far as we know, the shower works.
So far. So far, so good.
So Michelle, is the charge, the 1,300, that's accurate then as far as
Yeah, that's what the council had
2 years ago? or-
talked
Mhm.
about,
Okay.
last year. And so we just kept it the same.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
he was having some issues with insurance, and so he's having to change his insurance carrier, that he will get us all that insurance information, naming us as second insured. As soon as he gets that, he's found a new insurance carrier. So the old insurance, if they allowed camping, wouldn't insure them. So it was weird.
That is weird.
That's totally weird.
I'm
So
sure
just
they've
so
been
everybody
doing
knows,
that
they're
always.
renting the whole entire park out, so nobody else will be camping there. And if to go to the Bluegrass Festival, I think there's a fee to get in, all of that, so they will be taking the whole park for that weekend. I think it
And
starts
also the
Wednesday
grade
or
school,
Thursday.
right?
Yeah,
And the
they
grade
will
school.
have parking at the grade school too, they're taking over the grade school.
There's a couple of reasons why we were really open to this. The reason why it came to pass was because of the fact that they were remodeling the school.
Right.
And they weren't able to have it there, but from our standpoint, then number one, it gives exposure to the park, gets used to the park. And secondly, it actually has a better chance of making a difference in the business core downtown. And which is obviously one of our primary
It makes
concerns.
everything walkable, you
Yeah.
know, you can
Yeah,
walk to the
yeah,
park,
and-
you can
and
walk to the.
they also limit the number of vendors that they would have, so that part of it is, we.
I didn't
last
wanna
year-
see them move somewhere else
Mm-mm.
and lose that
Yeah,
festival,
no, I
especially
think it
for our
would be excellent.
businesses.
And we
It's-
hope that it becomes.
It's
a
been here for
long-term-
so long,
Yeah.
you know, we
Yeah.
needed to keep it.
Yeah, it's great, and especially if it would help the businesses, you know, so. Hey, anything else?
No, that's. all I
Anybody
have.
else have any questions for Michelle?
No, my
Thank
only
you
question
very
was the
much.
campsite, so it was perfect.
So on new business, we have a interagency data sharing agreement with the Washington State Auditor's Office. It's the pink handout that you had. We have a ongoing agreement with them, and this is a renew of that. And I don't think there's any changes to it. So, yeah, it's just a matter of updating the paperwork. And as most things, it has proved far more beneficial to go into an interagency share rather than to try to carry on particular services or functions individually. So does anybody have any questions regarding that?
No.
So we entertain a motion that we would accept this agreement and to continue the data sharing between us and the auditor's office.
I'm also move.
Okay, I'll second.
Okay, now is there any discussion?
No.
Okay, so are all in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? So the other thing we have would be the approval of the Toledo Land Development Code updates. And so what we would begin with the motion, and then after a second, then we could have discussion to, if that's desired, and then go from there. So we have a motion to approve the code updates, land development code updates.
I make a motion that we approve the land development code updates.
I'll
for
second
Toledo.
it.
Okay, so we have a motion and approval to approve the updates to the code. Now we can have discussion because we want to discuss adding a clause regarding animals. I guess farm animals rather than domestic animals, but Michelle had brought that up and Eric had mentioned that perhaps it's covered, but what kind of discussion or opinions would we like to?
Well, I'd like to start. I hear what you're saying. I really do. But I also find that, and I know that we have nuisance, but it's like, okay, is that really a good way for our officers to have to spend their times running down chickens and finding the owners of the chickens or the rabbits or the whatever they have in their yard. If they have a goat hooked up somewhere that's chewing down branches for them. I don't know. I just think that we should be able to contain anybody that has, it's just a personal opinion, and I've lived in this town all my life, but if you've got animals, they should be contained on your property, whether it's a cat, dog, horse, chicken, bunny rabbit. That's just my thoughts. Everybody else?
I agree.
The one.
Responsible owner.
Yeah, the one point I would have regarding the nuisance, which I think should cover it, unfortunately, we currently have nuisance regarding eyesight, junk cars. And the issue we have is where do you start and where do you stop? And so if the chicken is 2 inches away from their home, is that something that you say to them whenever there's might be a billy goat that has free reign of the neighborhood every night? And by having something specific, then we can go and just say, it says right here, blank. So that would be my strongest argument. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so,
Anybody else?
so.
Oh, being the said chicken owner here.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Chickens on parade. No, it's
Which
okay.
chicken do you think we were talking about?
I have no idea. So my ladies, okay, so I have a one hen, her name is Hendini, because she's Houdini hen. She does stay in my yard, fortunately. There are rampaging dogs that do come rolling through my yard, killing my chickens. That is another nuisance that I would say. So I think, yeah, it is a snowball effect. I will work harder to keep my hens behind bars in the future. Will quickly dispatch any that don't conform. But that's just my personal space there. But yeah, I mean, it's a slippery slope. And so I think it's a non-issue myself.
So my question is, would we make the revision to add, would it say farm animals or would it say animals?
Non-domestic animals?
There's a section in the code that specifically calls out farm animals. And when I specifically saw these chickens, it was more than Hendini. There was more than one, and they were in the road. And I was thinking more on an enforcement. So I think you should probably talk to your officer on how it should read so that he can be able to enforce it. Because was that the chickens being on the road a nuisance to me? No, they weren't really a nuisance to me, but should they have been in the road?
No.
So if I would have ran a chicken over, some property owner might have called it as my fault because I was driving too fast or make some excuse, But I'm just thinking more as an enforcement issue. What would, if it specifically states that your farm animals need to be contained? Yeah, if one gets out occasionally, that's going to happen, but it would be easier for him to enforce something. Whereas somebody saying, well, my horse is always in my yard. It never gets out. It's not causing the problem, but then the horse goes rampage,
Well, I thought in our city code that we can't have horses in the city.
If you have certain acreage, yes, you can. And we do have horses in the city
okay.
limits
Oh, I did not know that.
that are behind fences.
Okay.
So that's more of what I was kind of, because I never occurred to me before until I saw chickens all over the road, and like Emily stated, a dog did chase her chickens. Dogs are supposed to be contained. It doesn't say they have to be contained by a fence, or they just have to be under the owner's control.
On their
But
property.
if if there's a certain type of dog and it sees a bird, it's going to chase that bird.
In my yard.
So, I think it's a question maybe you want to talk to your police chief about.
So tell us how you feel about the chickens, John.
Yeah. we just-
Make a recommendation.
Well, Michelle answered your question, so. Thanks, Michelle. Basically, you're on the right track as far as I'm concerned, as far as enforcement goes. The more specific, the better for me. We do have nuisance ordinances, but some of them are very broad in language, and so it's very hard to interpret sometimes, and people have questions and they get letters, and we've all been down that road with people in town, so with cars and such. But yeah, as far as the ordinance, if you can make it as specific to whatever animal you're talking about, farm animals, if that's the case, we already have ordinances on dogs. They have to be on leash, they have to be under control of their owners. So yeah, any questions about that? And if chickens or horses or whatever, if they get out of your containment area and they get involved in a crash of some sort, the owners, of course, liable for that damage. So that's something you gotta think about too. So like say, if your chicken's in the road and somebody swerves to miss it and hits a parked car, you could be liable for that civilly.
So my question is, what is the process we would follow at this point in time?
So you're not really.
Don't go
So you're
too
not
far.
really passing the code. What you're doing is passing it along to go to the state for the 60-day review. So you can state that you want to pass it with the amendment of adding language for containment of farm animals, if you so choose to say that, and that can be done. And then we could start our 60-day review with the state. There'll still be an ordinance you'll have to pass with 2 readings, but we wait till it goes through the state. So they have their 60-day review where they notify everybody and every agency first.
Okay, and then, so we have that 60-day period to work on the ordinance regarding farm animals.
They want it in detail now, otherwise we'd have another 60 days if there's any changes.
So what we would want to do, we would approve it with the understanding that we are going to add that. And then at next meeting, we would present something that we would approve collectively.
You could approve it, just add language for containment of farm animals.
Oh,
And
That's
then
good
who
enough.
does the language then? I think is what he's getting at. Do
Yeah.
we have?
Cindy.
Cindy is.
Okay, I think that's what he was looking for. Is that something we have to come up with?
Cindy, are you in agreement with the council asking you to do that?
I would like to suggest that you broaden that from farm animals though to non-domesticated animals, or am I,
Yeah, because there's a lot of
It could-
bizarre animals.
doesn't
that
have to
people
be a farm animal, I mean,
Does it say farm animal?
just,
I think
well, hey, I'm just saying, you're done then, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm getting at, then you've sort of covered it, if it's not. a cat or a dog.
Non-domesticated, which takes the dog and cat issue out.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
and then it covers
All the other,
whatever else it could be, because in this world, who knows?
it could be an iguana, who knows?
Parrot,
Parrot, yeah.
yeah.
Some.
Maybe somebody's gonna bring an alligator to town, I
Yeah,
don't know,
you never know.
I'm just throwing it out there,
A boa constrictor laying in the street.
you're done then. You've got it all covered.
So you're thinking non-domestic is the key word.
Yeah, I think so, because now you covered it
What's
all,
that?
So
right?
non-domestic, the key word.
Yeah,
Or somebody decides they have. a
So we
pet
would
deer
entertain a
or-
motion that would.
There's already a motion on the floor,
Oh,
so choose to amend the motion,
Okay.
we can amend the motion that's already on the floor.
Okay. We'll entertain an amendment to the motion.
so I'll make an amendment to the motion to say that we approve the Toledo Land Development Code update with the amendment addressing non-domesticated animals and the containment thereof. Does that sound right, Michelle?
And we need a second for the.
I'll second that.
Okay,
So Shelley has seconded it.
do we, have any further discussion? Okay, so all in favor of adopting the code revision updates with the said amendment, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just staple them in there.
And we'll get it done and start the 60-day review.
Sounds great. Thank you. And the only other thing we have on here is COVID-19 updates.
Just received like a 4:30 tonight information on the new money that's coming down. And I didn't get a chance to read all through it. So there'll probably be some paperwork that will need to be signed. And I think they're trying, if we get it in by the 18th of this month, our first payment will be by the 28th of this month. And then the rest of the money will be next year. And it's like $210,000 total. And so the group of people that I think Ron and Gary both signed up that they wanted to be in the group that would kind of look to see where we want to spend this money. And so we'll get together and start discussing that then. I'll double check. I think it was Ron and Gary. Were you on that too, Emily, or not? Was it you? I don't think it was.
Can there be more than two? Because
No, it can,
yeah,
otherwise it's a meeting.
don't
So I
think
think it was
so.
Ron and Gary,
Yeah,
if I remember right.
And a little bit of confusion that night because we discussed a number of items as to what people would participate in, because we didn't only discuss that money, but also the appointment of the council member. Yeah, so we had a number of people that volunteered for it. So we'll go from there. Okay, anything else regarding COVID? Okay. Does anybody else have any items they want to bring up? Okay, if not, then we would entertain.
Is there any public comment?
If not, then we entertain a motion to dismiss.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
A second.
You have a motion to adjourn. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much for your participation.